What's up everybody, Dimitri here. In this video we're gonna look at how we can make it a little bit better by remodifying some of the topology to get an even better result. And before I forget, I really want to say thank you for getting me to 11,000 subscribers. It's been a tough couple of months. Really happy that I'm in a different position now. Hopefully I'll get back to a regular YouTube schedule very soon. This is the third video of the series, by the way. Make sure you check out the previous videos if you haven't done so. We're gonna go and continue to refine our massing. Yeah, so this is what we're gonna end up with today. And I'll show you where we started from. Alright, so we got two towers here, and they look at first hand the same, but let's look at the masses. So we can see the subdivision in here. That's the one we had before, and you can see it's not quite even in both the vertical and the more or less horizontal direction. It's kind of like a DAG grid, but not completely like a DAG grid, so it doesn't really align well to floors or to anything. And this is the cleaned up version of where we have perfect verticals. Sorry, we have perfect horizontals, and everything is nice and evenly spaced out. Meaning that once we look at our tessellation, it looks much more realistic and much nicer, because everything is spaced out nice and evenly. And with such a simple yet nice tessellation, we can go and actually explore many different ways where we can tessellate. You know, we could be a DAG grid, or it could be something that's a little bit more solid in its understanding. You know, it could be panels that have a few solid elements inside of them, or it could be like this one, a very kind of modern minimalist glazing panels. And the nice thing is that all of these are very quickly once we set up our base mesh. So again, make sure you check out the previous videos if you haven't done so, to understand how we get to this point, because now we're going to get a little bit more advanced. And as always, the model is going to be available if you'd like to support this channel to purchase it in the description below. This is the mesh that we ended up with, and we want to turn it into exactly what this mesh here looks like. So I'm going to move this mesh away, and I always like to duplicate things, so Shift D, 150 in the negative direction. Okay, let's hide the other ones for now, and let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is space out all the verticals evenly. I got a really nice tip from somebody looking at this video, an advanced user, so thank you for that, and I'm going to share the tip he shared with me with you. Make sure you have loop tools enabled. Once it's enabled, go into edit mode, select edges, alt click the first edge loop, and alt click the last edge loop. Now right click, loop tools, space. Space command in loop tools spaces all the vertices evenly across the loop. And there's two ways that it can work. So if it's based on the selection, it only spaces the ones that we have adjusted. But if we do parallel to all, it does its magic through the whole set of vertices. It takes a bit of time to compute, but once it's done, it's really nice and much easier than what I was doing in the previous video, which was trying to erase some loops and try to do this effect manually. The next thing we want to do is make sure that all of our horizontals are truly horizontals. Because if we look at it now, they're kind of like diagonals, but not quite. You know, they don't really align to planes too much. So the easiest way to do that is to Control Alt click an edge, which selects an edge ring, and then go to select loops, edge loops. Now we want to change the pivot point from median point to individual origins. Once that's changed, all we need to do is press S for scale along the z-axis and 0, and voila, everything is now horizontal. So we're almost there, but we're missing our nice top. So now if we go to a side view, let's erase a couple of edge loops near the top. X edge loops, and we're going to use an add-on called rotate face, which basically follows the normals and the contours of our topology. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that we have a face, and once you've bought and enabled the add-on, change to face selection, select the face, go to face, and you should appear over here called rotate face. And now you can see we rotate this, but it keeps all the elements sort of the way they were. All the geometry, all the topologies remains quite nice. Now, I don't know if I'm rotating in the right direction. Let's just see. I think that's the right way. Cool. I'm just going to rotate it a little bit more to something like that. Great. So now we have a base mesh that's much nicer and much easier to work with. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is adjust our floors. Because we have all the verticals, we want the floors to sort of follow the vertical size. In this case, I decided to make 3 panels the height of one single floor. If we click on the floors, they've already been adjusted, but in the previous video, I think I was using 4 meters. And you can see 4 meters doesn't quite align to anything along the geometry. So the first thing we need to do is measure how many 3 panels in terms of vertical height are. So I'm going to go into the mesh, right click, go into face selection, get 3 panels, Shift D to duplicate them. And then let's press X, limited dissolve, and now we've just made this 1 panel. And turn on the snaps, make sure you're on vertex snapping. Select this vertex, and snap it both along the X and the Y. And let's erase these 2 sides, XV. Now let's enable edge length, and select the vertex, select the edge. And it should tell us, it's a bit faint, and it's a bit hard to see with the cursor. Let me just turn it off. 5.547. Great. So now we can erase that edge. Turn off the edge length overview. So all we need to do now is change our floor types to 5.4547. So 5.547. Great. So now we have all the floors that are perfectly aligned to our mesh panels. And now we have an ample choice of how we want to tessellate it. But prior to tessellation, let's add a couple more details like a core and a series of panels. So for the core, it's fairly easy. Let's put the cursor somewhere over here. We'll draw a simple plane. Let's scale it a little bit. Maybe we make it 15 by 20. It's a very massive building. In fact, it's a little bit too big, but we won't worry too much about the massing in this series of videos because we're looking at how we can treat the tessellation and the massing of understanding of the scale and the facade. But if you're interested, please let me know in the comments, and I can do another series of videos talking much more about massing. Alright, so now back on this video on point, we're just extruding this box to somewhere over here. We don't want it to pop up, so that should be enough. Okay, so now let's make the columns, and for the columns we're going to use the base mesh, and we're going to do something with it. So first I'm going to do Shift D to duplicate it. Let's isolate our selection, and let's add a solidify modifier to maybe a thickness of 1.5, and we don't want to fill the rim, and I'll show you why in a second. We just want to make sure that this is on the right side. Yep, we want it inside in. In fact, let's do 2 meters inwards, and let's hit apply. Once we hit apply, without filling in, if we go into edit mode and press L, you see the 2 sides are not linked, so it's really easy to deselect one and erase it. So now I pressed L, X, F to delete the faces, and now we're left only with the interior one. I'm also going to get rid of the top face, X, F, and now we have our edges. So in edit mode, let's control click to select an edge ring, and I need to be in edge mode, so let's try it again, and select, checker deselect. We want to deselect 5 and select 1. Next, select loops, edge loops. Control I to inverse the selection, X edges, and now we have a series of columns. Next thing we want to do with these columns is convert them to curves. So once we go back into object mode, go to object, convert to curve from mesh or text, and now we can just give him some depth in the object data properties here, which is the green icon. So if we scroll down, geometries for some reason minimize, so you need to maximize it, because to me that's the most important one in curves. And we want to change the bevel to maybe something like 0.4, and we should have columns. I'm going to shade them smooth, and let's see how the whole thing looks now. Cool. So now we've got columns. I'm just going to make them a little bit thicker. 0.6. Great. So now we've got columns, we got a basic core, and the only thing we need to do is retessellate our facade again. Alright, thank you very much for watching this. As always, check in the description below if you'd like to support this channel to get a link to the models that were being shown here. And let's tune into the next session, which is talking about the actual tessellations.